Okay, we're live.
Welcome, gentle viewers. This is Alex, Sarah, and rare occasion Vince on deck here for you tonight. You have no idea what we have in plan.
Am I insane, or do we just have a whole conversation about how I was supposed to do the intro?
Well, you can still do it. There's no rules here.
That was the pre-intro intro. It's like the prologue to the intro.
It's funny because Sarah started recording before this, and then Alex just started talking about something else without an intro, and I was about to start yelling about Alex, shut up, we're gonna do the intro. But then Sarah stopped recording, which made me even angrier because this is like the traditional Mazecast opening is where we start.
We never do that.
Yeah, noise and camera. But then it was Alex to the rescue because then he screwed it up in a totally different way the second time. So the integrity.
Classic Mazecast. We're here to be unprofessional for you.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought Alex's introduction was very nice.
No, you're right. It was. I could have just let it go.
Yep.
But as I was saying, so I think we're on to something. Well, we're not onto anything. But you've got the odd man in principle up until page 42, and then everything changes. What do you think, guys?
I don't think so. I think anywhere, at least, well, no, it's interesting and it's debatable. I don't think it changes there, but I don't think we really understand how all the rooms work, even along the path, even on just the way in. But I think if we think something else is going on, we just don't understand what the puzzle's about.
So Vince, you called this meeting. What's on your mind about Maze? What are we going to talk about here?
Oh, nice save, because we were just struggling there. So really, so almost absolutely nothing. Like this is just like a moment of opportunity, and we all jumped into it without having anything to say. I guess the main developments in Maze are going on in the Abyss right now. There's virtually no activity in the Mazecast Hangout. And then there are like basically two things happening on Into the Abyss, which is that we're getting regular, completely psychotic comments from William Brandon McLaughlin on there. And then there's another user named Ritz, who I don't remember whether we've mentioned Ritz on the show before. I feel like we have.
I think we shouted him out at least once.
Yeah, we've talked about him.
Yeah, there's a Ritz.
Or her, we don't know.
Yeah.
Or her.
I don't remember, but Ritz
They.
really should have come on the show by now. Ritz has lots of things to say, but Ritz is shy about coming on the show, just like a lot of other Into the Abyss all-stars like Kon-Tiki and, well, I don't know. I can't remember anyone else anymore. But a lot of people that have interacted a lot with us on Into the Abyss, but have balked at actually coming on to the show. But Ritz is supposed to be putting together some kind of best of Mazecast video and actually sort of talk some shit about us not updating, not having had a new video for a long time.
Well, that's awesome. I want to hear it.
Yes, this is for you, Ritz.
Yeah.
It's a new video. We're posting it, and we're talking directly to you. Put up your goddamn greatest hits or whatever it is video. We all want to see it.
What else do we all have to live for?
The last greatest hits video that we put out was Vince's top 10 solutions, and that was one of the most popular videos we ever had.
That was a great video.
You could be world famous.
I mean, people love lists. People love top 10 or top 5, anything. So if we did a video right now and called it like top 5 rooms in the maze or top 5 anything, I bet it would be like you know,
Yeah,
a
which
hit
is
by Maze measures, right? Which is like 20
Rich's
views.
top 5 crackers.
No, let- yes. That's what we'll call this video. Top 10 something. What should it
Yeah.
be?
Top 10 Easter eggs in Maze. The 10th
Yes.
will shock you.
Oh,
But it's
yeah.
Thanksgiving. It's not Easter.
Oh,
We're
right.
gonna have some kind of a. Well, no, it's Canadian Thanksgiving. My apologies, Americans.
Well, no, that is great though. That is perfect because that sounds like a real video.
Yeah.
Well,
Just that sort of.
there's plenty of birds, but no turkeys and maize.
Top 10 Easter eggs in Maze. Perfect.
Now we have to come up with them, or we're just not going to talk about it at all anymore. I mean, that's what we do normally. Sounds
Right.
in the maze. I think we talked about sounds in the maze for maybe 2 minutes, and then talk for an hour and a half about something else. Nothing.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what's happening. So,
Okay.
to people who are watching this video now after it's done and it's been put up, like at this point, we apologize. We lied to you in the title of this video. We are not going to discuss any Easter eggs in Maze. In fact, I don't know whether there really are any. Like, I mean, there are things in
The
it.
whole book is an Easter egg. We just don't know
Well,
which are real and which aren't.
No, I think I know what Vince is talking about by Easter eggs. It's just by puzzles that are neither related to the path or mostly relevant. I mean, I'm sure it would be amusing to find out some puzzles that he may have. I think maybe in what's that room that's the foundation of the maze? I think it's room 6.
Uh-huh.
I think something like that would have an Easter egg where it's like an a inside joke or something. It's a testament to the identity of the guide or something like that, but nothing useful in terms of contest winning ability.
All right. Well, we're
Maybe.
missing the point because we're not actually be talking about Easter eggs in this video.
Now I kind of want to, though.
All right. Well,
What else are we going to talk about?
Let's talk about the 10 best ones in the book then.
Okay, moving on.
All right. Well, here, let's try this maybe. I mean, here's my second warning to the viewer. Mazecast is always pretty bad. This is going to be one of the worst episodes ever made because we're just really not prepared to do one.
We have never had an episode so focused on a goal as this one.
That's true, Alex, and I think that's a good point.
Well, no, I say that jokingly, but at the same time, we are trying our hardest. We are here for you, the viewer, to find these solutions.
And what I was going to say, let's each take a turn just to name something, could be extremely minute to discuss. And maybe this will end up being a very short episode. That's fine. Maybe we'll end up going down some digressions and maybe it'll be like a long episode. Who knows? But
I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see that? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay.
Yeah.
That way I can just pop up whatever we're talking about.
Hey, will you go to Into the Abyss?
Yeah.
Screen share?
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will.
And while she's doing that, I'm going to say a stupid theory that I always had about room 6, which was you could climb that ladder and get back to the beginning. But of course, nobody accepted that as a true solution, which is fine with me. But there's the abyss. Into the abyss. Into the abyss of crazy comments by William McLaughlin.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to start going down a little bit.
All right.
So I can't keep an eye on what you're looking. Okay, you're at the recent comments. Go down to the one from William Brandon McLaughlin that says, at V. Watkin, you don't suppose that the buckle seen between the entranceways of room 17 and 36 have anything to do with a red herring, do you?
Okay, I got that.
All right, so click on that one. Now, this is in reference to room 45. I wanted to kind of go through this interaction here because it illustrates a point.
Okay.
So, William Brandon McLaughlin, current favorite lunatic on Into the Abyss. He's going to fill in a role that Gentile, David Gentile.
Bingo.
It's him. It's him. It's the same guy.
It is
Anyway,
not. Alex, you say everybody is David Gentile.
You thought I was genteel.
not everyone, just the psychos.
Well, Sarah's right. You did think that she was genteel at some point. Gentile.
Who?
Gentile.
It's genteel. Genteel. That's what he
Gentile.
said.
Gentile? I don't know.
Gentile. I think it's genteel.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it was genteel on the 24 episode.
Okay. No, and this is not genteel. He's fulfilling a similar role. He's actually a little more sparse with his posts and his wording. So, and in some ways, he's a little less, obstreperous than Gentile was on the site, but he's got a similar sort of madness. He does say some interesting things sometimes. A lot of times he pops up with some strange vocabulary word, and he'll be like, does the boot in this room have anything to do with Macflaxidon, the Egyptian goddess of rainbows?
Well, he's clearly prompting you to go look that shit up.
Right. He never explains like why he would think that might be the case. He'll just say it, but I mean, sometimes you look at it, you're like, oh, this is sort of interesting. I've never heard of this.
I've never thought of that in Maze whatsoever.
Right, but then you're like, I don't know, man. Why would you think that? And he'll be like, I don't know. I was like swinging on my back porch, and a sunbeam caught my eye, and it just made me think about it. But so this is an interaction that happened here just in the last few days. William Brandon McLaughlin says to me directly, I guess, because he knows that I'm the person who obsessively watches The Abyss and responds to the things he says, because I'm still like, it's still a project of mine to try to make sure that the nonsense does not go unanswered on Into the Abyss. Like, if someone is coming naively to Into the Abyss, I really want them to see pushback on the madness. Not come
and
here.
we thank you for being a vanguard, fully aware of all.
Well, not everyone thinks him. I mean, what the madness is like highly subjective.
Yeah. All right.
Well, no, it's not super subjective. I mean, it's pretty clear that a lot of the stuff that he says is not. It's because it's not. It doesn't make sense, and I think maybe not all the time, but I think a lot of the time Vince is right in doing that, because I was at one time one of these random, on passers onto the Abyss, seeing these comments, and I commented saying that I think that what David Gentile is saying is kind of crazy, and it gave me solace knowing that Vince was like, yeah, me too. You know what I mean? So it's good that Vince is there to sort of keep sanity.
Yeah,
on a forum that is no longer moderated, to be honest.
Yeah, although I don't know whether constantly responding to William Brandon McLaughlin, I don't know whether that like encourages him or I don't know, provides a good.
Well, don't worry about him. Like, worry about the people who are reading, which we know are many. Like, there's always going to be people who pop out of the woodwork, like Ritz or Kontiki, and it's for them that I hope that you're doing your service.
Well, that's true. And actually, I mean, if William Brandon McLaughlin would, even if his ideas are crazy, if he would pop up from time to time and said, hey, I had this thought because of this, I don't even think it would be like, I don't like I don't hold any ill will towards William Brandon McLaughlin, and I've actually learned interesting things before from his posts because he does reference very obscure things, and sometimes like there is like some like tantalizing aspect to it where you're like, yeah, maybe that could, but it's very rare. Like more often, it's just total and complete nonsense. But then he
Okay,
does.
I'll say that. I'll say this. I think that some of the things that he mentions are interesting and are, like you said, they bear like research. But at the same time, I think it's not even him. It's mostly the form of media that is a bulletin board that is the into the abyss. It's the quantity. It's the way that the quantity of his messages are not curtailed, so to speak. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like Facebook, as bad as it is, it does a good job of curtailing, excessive comments, for lack of a better term, from a single person. And so I don't think that formats like Into the Abyss can, especially since it's unmoderated at this point, that it can sort of, regulate stuff like that. But at the same time, I do want to see every comment that is ever made on the topic of maize. And so for that reason, I archived it. I'm happy that at least somebody is interested in it, whether it's relevant or not.
yeah, agreed. I'm still I check the Abyss almost every day, if not every day, looking for new comments. I'm still interested to see if anyone comes up with something new, and it still often happens that people do. All right, but that's not even. I wasn't even bringing this up to like crap on William Brandon McLaughlin. I was trying to say that just by way of background information for people watching this, so they kind of get where this is coming from and why he would direct this comment right to me. Why he would say @VWatkin, because he knows that I'm the one who's going to read it and respond to it anyway. So he's just
Right.
out there. And so he says, you don't suppose that the buckle seen between the entranceways of room 17 and 36 have anything to do with a red herring, do you? Now he's talking about room 45. And if you've got your book out, or if you, I don't know if there's an image up right now or whatever, but if you take a look in there, you might react like I do, which is to say, well, I say on the site, are you talking about the awl picture, AWL awl? I don't follow offhand how a buckle relates to a red herring, so I don't know. The awl is one of the few things in the book that I don't think is a red herring, though, since it's part of the riddle of the maze. And William Brandon McLaughlin says, I was referring to the belt/buckle, not the inverted catenary arched awl. Let's pause here for a second. Yeah, see, this is classic William Brandon McLaughlin here, right? Because he could have just said, I'm not talking about the awl, I'm talking about the belt. But he introduces this term, inverted catenary arched awl, which I assume is an accurate description of the type of awl that's pictured in this room.
Yeah, whatever. It could also be a turkey baster.
No, it's an awl. It's not. That's definitely an awl. Let's keep our eyes on the prize here. But like this is the kind of thing where it's like I assume he's like done some research, or maybe he just knew off the top of his head that that's an inverted catenary arched awl. I don't know. But it's like he's using a very specific term here that kind of at least gives me pause. And it's like, oh, something about this awl that I don't know.
I don't see any connection between what Sarah's got on the screen here and the awl in the picture.
I think what he's doing is using a real architectural term, catenary arch, which kind of matches the way the awl looks, to then describe the awl.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even look this up. So catenary arched awl is not even a real thing?
No, a catenary arch is a thing. It's an architectural thing. Yeah, catenary arched awl, not a thing.
Oh,
yes,
God
it's
damn
the golden ratio. It's based on the golden ratio. and it works architecturally and gravitationally.
So I
But,
just Googled it in quotes, and I get one hit. And what do you think that hit
yeah,
is?
we should guess what it is.
God damn it, William Brandon McLaughlin.
He got you.
He totally
got
fucking
you.
got me. I read that phrase and I was really like, I was like, I don't even want to Google that. Like, I just took it on faith. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, this must be a real thing you're talking about. And it's not a real thing. William Brandon McLaughlin, I was trying so hard to give you some credit. You son of a bitch. Okay.
Well, there you have it.
But
I
you know,
mean, he used an appropriate architectural term to describe the all. I mean, it's a real term.
listen,
you can't describe a small object with architectural terms. That's just silly.
Well,
no. This is no. Okay. So this is outrageous. This is really outrageous. What's just happened?
It looks
here.
like a douche. It looks like a douche or a turkey baster. But I know it's an all. I know that. But Manson, he drew it badly. He drew it like it looks like a turkey baster.
Oh, it's just fine. It's just fine. But you know, I said that this was classic William Brandon McLaughlin because he used some obscure term that whatever. This is still classic William Brandon McLaughlin when it turns out to be total nonsense.
The only redeeming feature of that all is that it is puncturing a belt. If the belt was not there, then I would think it was a douche in a medical facility.
Yes, I agree with you there. And I think that's why Manson put the belt on there, because otherwise it's
He fucking had to, because he doesn't know how to draw an all for his life.
oh jeez.
Cut
No.
him some slack, man.
No,
All right,
I think
I'm a bit harsh there, but
I think the all just by its nature is a difficult thing to identify in a line drawing.
Yeah.
it is,
just
but and it's so frustrating for so many rebus artists because all is such a popular word / rebus item that you have to be able to describe it visually, but it's so hard to do.
Top 5 problems for Rebus artists.
Why didn't they just draw an owl, like an owl, like hoo hoo owl? You know,
Owl
sounds
is
kind of
okay.
the same.
That's the same way. All right, now let's
Okay.
keep moving.
All right.
No. The big problem here is that he's already moved like the goalpost. Like he makes reference to a buckle, and I'm like, well, there isn't a buckle. He says, I was referring to the belt / buckle. Now I respond to him. I say, I see the belt, but not the buckle. And then Sarah says, maybe he's saying that the belt is buckling. And I say, you mean like a young deer? There's a bit of wordplay
Wow.
there.
Yes, but Sarah would say that, wouldn't she?
Come on, it makes sense. The belt is bending, it's buckling.
Well, I mean, he said belt and buckle. Like that's pretty visually succinct.
Just trying to participate in the wordplay, you know.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I don't know.
Now here's the so William Brandon McLaughlin responds by saying, after discovering a new word, I inquired about its spoonerism, and its spoonerism suggested a buckled herring. And so,
wow.
With the D in parens.
all right. So I then responded, kind of going through what it took to get to this point. So I say, I'm describing what William Brandon McLaughlin did here. I say, step 1, consider the word huckleberry, which has no relation to maize. Step 2, spoonerize it as if it were 2 words, producing buckle hairy. Step 3, change that to buckled herring arbitrarily. Step 4, choose a room in maize that doesn't include a buckle or a herring. Step 5, propose that a buckle in the room suggests a herring. Step 6, feel confident about the wisdom of your choices. And
I think we should just reverse engineer William Brandon McLaughlin's theories. We should just bend them into working. That should be our new goal. That should be, since we have nothing else.
And then he went on to like actually try to defend his suggestion. And I just reiterated that he's still stuck in step 6, where he's feeling confident about the wisdom of his choices in this ridiculous process. But the
Right.
reason I wanted to go through all this is because this is such a perfect illustration of what I talked about years and years ago when I did my one blog entry on Mazecast.com, where I talked about the way people make bad solutions. And this is an extreme example, I guess. It's an extreme example, maybe just because it's been laid out so clearly. But this is exactly the thing where you go through, you start out, well, you go through this absolutely ludicrous series of transformations to like
This
try
is,
to,
I think, this is even beyond what you were talking about. What you were talking about was believable.
well, yes. And that's what I was thinking about as I looked at this. It's like when I chose the examples of real solutions in that article, where I was trying to like say, well, let's walk through some solutions that I think are bad, and
But believable.
but I tried to pick ones that like that seemed like plausible to suggest, because there's so much stuff on Into the Abyss that if I examined it and really took it apart, it just seems uh, like I'm picking on an idiot. You know what I mean? Like like
I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I said which is believable, but probably not true.
yeah. Well, there's stuff all we've said that all of us have said that is flat out stupid.
Yeah.
Sure, but I wanted to pick stuff that someone had found reasonably plausible and say like I think it's ridiculous. There's always stuff like this on here that's just so outlandish that to even examine it seems like you're belaboring the point. Like you should just be able to point at it and say, look at how dumb this is, folks. Isn't this embarrassing? But just the way this played out, like where we got the access to the thought process by which this came about. This is so clearly like the backwards process, where instead of trying to think what Manson is actually plausibly trying to communicate, like the idea that Manson was trying to suggest, I want something in this room to suggest there's a red herring here. Herring, herring. What about buckled herring?
What about
Huckleberry.
ring?
Huckleberry. Ah, yes. So, so I'm going to use the word huckleberry to imply herring. No, I'm not going to draw or suggest a huckleberry, or a buckle or a herring. But if I put a strip of cloth with holes in it in the room, that should make people think of a belt, which is usually has a buckle on it, although I'm not going to draw a buckle in this case. That should allow them to think of buckle, which should then get them to huckleberry somehow.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you something. This is a
Yeah.
legit question. Okay, let's say you wanted to, to clue to Huckleberry. Like obviously Berry would be easy to clue to, but how would you clue to Huckle?
Yeah, I don't know that there's any reasonable way that you would do that. I did actually happen to look at the etymology of huckleberry in the course of interacting with William Brandon McLaughlin here, and I had to look it up again. I think the word huckle is like an archaic term that means like joint or something like that. It has
Right.
the so, but even if you did that, like if you did a rebus where you like had a joint like an elbow or something, and then a berry, like that's still completely implausibly cryptic. Like no one is going to look at that and be like, elbow,
Well,
joint.
no, you say that, but then we're talking about Christopher Manson, who's got pictures of Orson and some fucking machine that we don't even know what the name is of.
Well, that's true. Actually, that would be silly, but it would not be unimaginable. Like,
And the thing is, like, we're talking about Orson, but at the same time, there might be other items in the maze that we don't even know about that are of equal obscurity. You know, like I'm sure
Right.
that. Well, I don't want to say I'm sure, but like there are objects, like there are some weird objects in maze that you can't put a name on. Like, I hate to bring up the birds, but that's one of them. But also,
the machine in 16.
well, yeah, but at the same, like the machine in 16, like now that we've talked about the fact that it looks like the number 7, I'm not convinced that it's any machine that ever existed. It's just a machine that looks like the number 7.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree with you, Alex.
So
I mean,
at
I
that
think
point,
it's
I stopped looking at what kind of machine it is because
It is
we've
not.
discovered its true meaning.
It is not a machine meant to hide the number 7. That is crazy.
What?
it's
Come
not
on, take a look at it. Come on,
crazy.
Sarah, bring it up. Room 16.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, rooms.
as like.
Oh, I clicked on the
jewels it.
screen. I clicked on my PDF on the door. I'm like,
Hey, come on, look at that. It's the number 7. It's got the middle thing. Like it looks like a, okay, I'll grant you this. It looks like a backward F. That is the most I will go, is I will say it looks like a backward F. But
I mean, I think it probably has a
7.
purpose beyond the 7, but it doesn't. If it does, it doesn't depend on knowing.
because like we
identifying the
looked into this
machine.
far and wide, and none of us found anything on this machine. Like we even had, a professional farmer look into this. What was her name? That girl we had on. But anyway, yeah, I wouldn't look any further, because like we know how Manson works, right? And he's more about
No, we don't know how Manson works.
Well, we
We
kind
have
of do,
some
because,
clues.
like,
Very
look at
little.
the 2 deja vu rooms. Like there was obvious changes in the rooms, like apart from the the fingers being changed and stuff like that. There were changes in the room at the back with the palm trees. Like one of them looked like it was fake, and the other one looked like it was real. Like you can't deny that. So you got to say, well, anyway, you know what? I totally digress on that. And the stylistic form of Manson's art is different from what we're talking about here with whether this is a 7 or not. But I don't know. I think it's a 7, and for that reason, I would say, okay, Vince, maybe you would say there's more research that needs to be done on this machine, but I'm saying that because this room has a lot of hidden numbers and shit, maybe 7 is one of them in this machine. I don't know. That's what I'm going on for now until somebody has a better explanation.
I have no doubt that 7 is intentional.
Yeah.
Sarah has no doubt. I guess that's case closed. Sarah
Case
has no
closed.
doubt about something. What a
No, but look
surprise.
at that. There's 2 7s.
Look at that. And they're even the same. They're like drawn the same way as the other 7s.
Yeah. So this is, I wouldn't say it's concrete evidence, but it's pretty goddamn good evidence that there's something going on with the 7s there.
I do want to say
Machine.
something, though, related to WBM, or sort of the discussion in general, which is just that I think that kind of thinking, even though it might not be helpful, is really, it's hard to resist the temptation to think like that, especially when you think about like the things that we do know about Manson, things he told us about, his things he was interested in, and that whole thing about Roussel and how Roussel generated imagery. And it seems reasonable he might have been doing just random wordplay as a way to generate imagery. I mean, there's no way to deconstruct that. I understand it. Like, there's no way to go backwards and figure it out. And there's no way for us to make sense of it without him telling us. But I think that's partly why it's so tempting to try and do it, is because why not?
No, it's not like he took some bizarre flight of fancy from something in the book. There's no buckle in the room. There is nothing in the room that connects with.
Okay. I'm not saying that particular brand of it that's going too far, obviously.
No, he's being consistently, I think inaccurate is the best term, for lack of a better term.
All right. Well, that was all. I thought that that this I don't know what you want to call it, incident, exchange, whatever, was an interesting example of what I talked about in whatever that blog post was called that I wrote. You know,
I think it was called Too Long Didn't Read.
TLDR, yeah.
too long didn't read.
I think it was called that. I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
I guess I
it was
could
the
find
helpful
it and
word,
call
I
it
had to
up.
read it. Yeah, I read it a couple of times just to remind myself about the insanity.
all right. So anyway, that's my contribution to this episode. Someone else take a turn to raise a subject
Okay. I'm just gonna. It is
of similar gravity.
an importance to like the endeavor of solving maze.
Yeah.
Yeah. There. See, TLDR. There it is.
Well, as they always say, in order to look forward, you must look back. And I always find it useful to look at the earlier comment. Well, yeah, the earlier comments on Into the Abyss are fairly useful. I think there were more sort of the anonymous posters like Mole Man and some other guys whose names I don't remember.
Oh, Mole Man. Didn't he pop up like years later, once or twice?
Yeah, he debunked, like somebody said something stupid and he was like, no, that's wrong. I think it was Gentile, nah, maybe it wasn't Gentile. It was like I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I can't fucking remember.
I want to say that I think a key difference between WBM and Gentile. Oh, go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
I remember what the comment was. It was regarding. It was me actually. I was talking shit. I was like, the dude in room 8 is Punch. I was like, the guy's Punch. He was like, no, you're talking shit, Alex. It's not Punch. It's just a gesture or a fool, I suppose. But yeah, I was hell bent on the idea that it was Punch from Punch Comics.
Punch. He's definitely Punch.
Well, I don't know. Is it? Mole Man says no.
I don't know. The clown face, the long nose, long chin, the hunch. These are all pretty good clues.
I don't know if he had the hunch. I don't know if Punch had the hunch.
He did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Google this right now.
Sarah's certainty is like so cheaply aroused. Like, I don't. What are you even ever in a state of doubt about? It's like there's no midline of credulity. It's like immediately from something might be the case to yeah, it's definitely the case.
There's lots of stuff that I am,
Yeah,
unsure
I've
about.
jumped on the bandwagon in my time.
But I tend more to comment on the things that I feel really gung-ho about. I mean, none of us has any evidence to back any of it up anyway. So, like, what is there to go on? But you're feeling that it, makes sense with Manson's style.
Yeah, it's true. When you like lack common sense, it is hard to appreciate why someone's telling you you're crazy.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Definitely. Well, okay. What I was going to say is, I'm not sure why I was going to say this. To me, WBM is more like hidden mystery, where he likes to come on and say things that are cryptic because I think, I don't know, but maybe he gets a little thrill.
No, I think you're onto something. I think there's a subgenre of maze participants who just like to get off on other maze participants.
Yeah, they like to inject their own, their own game into it, right? They don't want to give you anything straight out. It's like they're creating their own puzzle for us to solve. Whereas Dave had like extensive theories and was quite willing to talk at length and explain to you exactly what he meant, even though it didn't make any sense.
That's true.
He was cryptic too. He did say some cryptic shit on the Abyss.
Well, but if his statements were cryptic, it was just because his ideas were incomprehensible. But he he was never deliberately hiding the ball. He wanted
Right.
he wanted to go through extensively what his thought process was and coming up with something.
Wasn't he a statistician?
Statistician? I don't know. Maybe.
Statistician.
Yeah, I think that's what he said. He was a statistician.
Do you know what I found out recently? This is a total non sequitur, but I recently found out that Florence Nightingale, who everyone knows as being like a nurse, was a prominent and very well regarded statistician. He's like quite famous for being this wonderful statistician. And you never hear about that. Anyway, that's all. That's something I learned recently that kind of blew my mind.
Well, it sounds like they would be good professions hand in hand, like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
lends itself to the other.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
Was she a statistician prior or subsequent to her famous nursing work?
I don't know. I think they kind of went together, but you're
Wow.
right. I mean, it would be interesting to know more details.
Well, I hope she had a better handle of statistics than Dave Gentile does.
Well, who knows? He might be great at statistics.
Yeah, we don't know. He might be the greatest statistician ever known.
Yeah.
I can't even say it.
But I don't know. That's what got me about Hidden Mystery, and that's what gets me about WBM. Is just like they don't want to come out straight out and say anything. Like, if you have an idea, just tell us your idea.
Yeah, actually, I was starting to say something similar earlier tonight, and I can't remember where I wasn't able to we went off in another direction. Remember, Hidden Mystery is Thale Kreider. I was going to say William Brandon McLaughlin is like Thale Kreider, more like Thale Kreider than David Gentile, because he'll kind of drop in and just give you this hint of this idea that he has, and you're just like, dude, just don't hide the ball on us. What are you saying here? One difference, I don't think that Thale Kreider has ever said anything remotely interesting or useful about
Yeah,
Maze.
of course he did. Of course he did. He was talking about the bowling pin.
What, that he identified it as a bowling pin?
No. The O pin. He was the purveyor of that clue.
You're saying that came from Thale Kreider?
Yeah, you said that came from Thale Kreider, buddy.
When did I
You
say
said that? I remember that. You bigged him up because he said that clue. You were
I'm
like,
sure
yo,
he's had a few good observations.
Well, I remember that. I do remember that. You were like, Thale Kreider, you may be talking shit, but at least you said "oh pin." At least you got that down. So, I mean, whatever. Hey, listen. Maybe I don't remember him saying that, but I remember you saying that about that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's good enough for me.
Well, in that case, I apologize if that's true to Thale Kreider, because that is that's not psychotic, O-Pin.
It's not terrible, but a stopped clock is still right twice a day. Well, that's unfair. That's not fair to say. He did. I'm sure he put his time in.
Oh yeah, I mean, Thale Kreider has put the time in on Maze, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just all been in service to a mountain of lies.
Well, his methodology is like, what is it? It's like finding the number of repeated letters or finding a series of letters that
he won't even tell you. He won't even tell you the puzzles.
It's like numerology. He has like a recent. I should see if I can.
No, yeah, he recently landed on numerology, and specifically with adding the number values of certain letters in the text as a way to get the correct door. But I mean, even when it's bad for complicated reasons, which is often the case with numerology, where there's like inconsistencies and some arbitrary decisions. You have to ignore all the instances where you can produce different door numbers with the same methods and all this stuff. It's predictably useless.
I mean, everyone who has put their time in Maze is just trying to find some system for understanding it, which, I mean, such a system doesn't really exist, I don't think. But everyone is trying to find some key that's going to unlock a way to look at maze that makes it all make sense.
There was a
Yeah.
time when I was kowtowing to what White Raven, perceived as legitimate clues, but I don't think that lasted long because I can't remember what it was, but there was some incident on Into the Abyss where he was clearly, I think you know what it was? It was Room 34. When Vince uncovered that Room 34 was bullshit, I doubted White Raven and his methodology. Or what he claimed, I know, I've been in touch with Manson and I know all the clues now and all that.
Well, I don't think he ever claimed that. I mean, I have a lot more faith in White Raven's way of looking at maze than you two do.
Oh, yeah? Would you say you're certain that it's correct?
No, I would not say that. No. Yeah, that's what makes things a little discouraging, is that it does just seem like we're never going to know.
I don't like that being said, I don't think White Raven was 100% wrong. I would say he was maybe 60 to 70% correct. And that's why Manson let him into his fold, is because he saw that he was 60 or 70% correct. And he was like, okay, this guy understands my methodology, so I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to build a repartee with him.
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. Remember, Manson used to talk with Gentile too. Like, he exchanged emails with him.
He never kept in contact with Gentile after he discovered that it was a waste of time, basically.
Well, yeah. So White Raven, I think it's hard to say like a percentage of what White Raven was correct about, because White Raven was.
I'm just trying to quantify it in a way that I'm saying that Manson would say, all right, I want to talk to this guy. Like, why do I want to talk to this guy? Because he's got X amount correct. So I think he's ready for the next level of Freemasonry, 33rd level Mason.
I think they also genuinely got along. Like, it sounds like they had other points of conversation that, they had stuff they like to talk about that they had in common.
And also, apart from like the puzzles, White Raven clearly, he had a good understanding of the mechanics behind maze and the aesthetic of it and some of the influences on it, like all the stuff that makes up additional material on Into the Abyss.
Right.
And the fact that he put in so much effort, he was so prepared to talk about the details of maze and stuff like that. Like, I think he just approached it like a scholarly study, not like most people would. It just be like a hobby, or I mean, at that point, I don't even know whether anyone was even taking it as seriously as being a hobby. Like, there was no maze community prior to Into the Abyss. There were just people here and there who still looked at the book every once in a while,
Well, do you ever consider that he did this as some kind of a thesis for a PhD?
I doubt it.
Well, what I'm saying it, like, why I say that is because he's laid it out like that. Like, it's pretty systematic, and he's got his own ideas, which I guess maybe he's trying to get validate. Well, I wouldn't say validation for, but
yeah,
he's got a discussion at least.
Well, we know he was working on his PhD at some point in the early days of the Abyss. So yeah, I don't know that he was working.
Maybe not on me specifically, but I remember he mentioned his PhD was on like puzzle related.
I don't think it was. No, it was on. I remember it was about noblesse oblige. but I can't remember.
Social. I think he's even said it on the. But I mean, Alex, I think you're right that he also referred to his theory of puzzles
Noblesse
as like.
Oblige does ring a bell. It doesn't ring a bell.
Like he talked about, the way he looks at puzzles as sort of a theory
Yeah.
that he's put some time into developing.
It is in there somewhere. It's in there in his scholarly pursuits. I just can't remember where.
But but I think just in general, the fact that he was engaged in scholarly pursuits led him to treat this like a scholarly pursuit, and taking it seriously in that way and putting the work into it in that way probably made him a much more attractive outlet for Manson to share some background information about Maze.
He was being groomed for the position as the heir to the throne.
But it is funny to think like maybe anyone could have done this at any time if they had just put in a little time to show that they were taking this seriously and contacted Manson. Maybe Manson would have been happy to talk with any of us. Any of us just gotten off our stupid lazy asses and I don't know, made a website.
So he says he's presently in a PhD program in inclusivist noblesse oblige, but like this whole bio is written in sort of an obscure kind of style where you can't really tell quite what he's saying. So inclusivist noblesse oblige, I don't know what that means. That's probably some kind of social study, it seems like.
I think it was some kind of a social hierarchy. In France, was it?
No, it's not. It's like a philosophical concept in morality or ethics, where the nobility have an obligation to perform altruistic acts or like charitable acts for those who are worse off in society, something like that.
So philanthropical endeavors.
Yeah.
Of the rich.
So inclusivist noblesse oblige might have something to do with the idea of everyone should feel that way or something.
I don't know. I don't know what the inclusivist.
So who started this?
What, like the concept of noblesse oblige?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I would guess it didn't come from one
a while.
person. It's probably just an ancient idea. But hey, you guys are well off. You've got an obligation to.
It goes as far back as the Romans. No, I don't know. Maybe.
Your Roman accent. It goes as far as the Romans. Julius Caesar.
I mean, you think of Romans, you have to immediately think of like Life of Brian. So immediately you have to do a British accent. I mean, it's natural.
No, I took Latin. I have a more grim view of the Latin, but they I could see the Romans doing it. I could even see the Greeks doing it to some extent, like taking in the poor and educating them. I suppose would be the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, the Greeks weren't educating any poor people. They didn't give a shit.
Okay, so real quick, top 5 rooms in Maze.
Top 5 rooms?
Yeah.
Why? Is that so you can call the video top 5 rooms in Maze?
I don't know. I'm just trying to break things up.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually into this. I think room number 5 is number 1 because it's the most solvable. It's the easiest to solve. Everybody's looked at it, and at least you can escape from it because you're already there.
Which one, Alex?
Number 1, room 1.
Number one.
Oh, I thought you said room 5, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
No, I was like number 5 because it was the 5 top rooms.
Right.
Number 5 is 1.
Well, number 1, number 5 is one of my favorites.
Well, okay. What's number 2 then, or number 4 rather?
So give me your top 5 rooms, Alex. Number 1. What else?
Well, no, this has got to be a vote between all of us. So I don't
Oh
know.
God,
I
we'll
say,
never agree.
okay, fine. Room one. What's next? Room.
38.
No, 44. 44.
Oh yeah, you always loved the
I
44.
love
You've
44.
talked
Yeah,
about that
it's
multiple times.
so cool, man. It's got the palm tree. It's got the alligator. It's totally like Miami or Costa Rica or something.
It's
Or
very
Greece,
dynamic.
you know, with the Greek
Yeah.
statues and shit. I'd say also room 31.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a
It's good.
pretty spooky one. That's a Halloween one. Halloween's coming up, and this will probably be the closest episode we do to a Halloween.
Yeah.
So what else? Maybe room. Let's see. 22.
Yeah, 22 is good too. These are good picks.
22 is a ball buster because people think it's anti-Semitic because of what's on the wall, but it's actually women's jewelry.
Jesus Christ.
An H2O. An H2O is
Anti-Semitic.
not precipitation. I was so pissed off when it wasn't precipitation, but H plus two O's equals water.
Could be rain.
Let's not get into that again.
No, that's not.
Oh my God. Was that
Anyway,
5?
okay, fuck the rest of my rooms. Let's go to Vince's favorite rooms.
So I'm supposed to give 5 rooms
5.
now?
5 rooms.
Random shit.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want.
No. I want your top 5 rooms.
Okay,
All right.
top.
23, 32.
Wait, slow down so I can show them. 23. Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Why
shit.
23?
I don't have time to talk about rooms. Let's just list them and move on with our
All
lives.
right. 23.
No, I think all of these I'm listing in general are ones that have longer. Well, 23 and 32 both are longer text rooms, and they're just like there's just more stuff there, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I like 23 and 32. I like 38. That's
That's a good one.
room you start to take for granted, but it's it's neat. It's got a rare bit of sort of a callback to how you entered the room. I mean,
Mhm.
it came down the slide, and the sea ape nose poster is like a rare, understandable puzzle in the book.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you think that the shoe there is the match to the one in room 40 something? I forget the one with the code stand. 44? No, 42.
42?
Maybe?
Yeah, you're talking about 42.
You know the one with the
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You
it's
think the
clearly
one-
not the match of that shoe. I mean, it is possible that, I mean,
I don't
Manson,
know if it's not clearly. It
I
could be
think
the
this
shoe.
means that you're losing your soul. I think it's just like a warning, Your soul is in danger.
Well, here's what I'm getting at is like how much do you think Manson put into people like looking like doing it again, like doing the book again, looking like seeing things that might be reminiscent of something they saw before in the maze.
yeah, that's what I was going to
Mix
say.
it up.
Like, I mean, this does not look the same as the boot in 42, but I could easily imagine that Manson expected people to just associate 2 rooms that have unmatched boots in them.
Yeah, I guess.
I think I would say 35. That's in a book full of rooms that we don't understand, the 35 just seems to stick out as one of the most mysterious and most tantalizing. It's also got some long room text. And yeah, I think I'd do room 1 in my top 5 as well. These were in no particular order, but I'll call those my top 5.
Okay.
All right, Sarah, you're up.
going to say, mm,
You like Room 2, don't you?
I do like room 2. I really like room 5. I'm going to say room 5 for sure. Room 19 because Manson is in it, and I like that. And also, I think it has a pretty, I think the puzzle in there is pretty. I mean, you at least know that he's doing something with mirroring, and that's cool. Man, sun, sun, man. That's a cute little bit of wordplay that he does in there that I like. So
It is cool with the lighting effect. There's only
yeah,
a few
it's a nice picture to look at. It has a lot of depth. I like it. I would say 35 is one of mine as well, just because this is the room that I really remembered when I looked at this book as a kid, and then coming back to it, that was the image that I had in my mind. So that was something that really stuck with me. So I would say that one for sure. I think I am going to say room 2, just because I like the sort of witchy, the creepy witchiness and the abandoned feeling of it. I like it's creepy. I don't know, maybe room 11.
Oh yeah, that's
really,
surprising a little bit.
I like room 11 a lot just because it's very dramatic, and you've got the kind of creepy writing, and it's sort of a tie between room 11 and room 6 for some of the same sort of feeling. You have that real feeling of danger.
I always feel like I got to make a decision fast in this room. It's like
it just feels dangerous, even though it's super brightly lit and looks kind of clinical, but you've got that cage over top, and I just think it's very effective. It's more about the imagery, I guess I would pick my favorite rooms more based on the imagery first, not so much the text, and also what I think about the puzzles in them, or what we think the puzzles are that are in them. So yeah, that's mine. Okay. How long have we been talking? Is that it? Does anybody have anything else to say?
Yeah, I think we're over an hour now at this point.
Oh my God, we had absolutely nothing to say. That's good though. We talked about the abyss. I don't know. Any closing comments? Maybe we should just encourage people to keep talking on the abyss. Even though we have no hope of ever finding a solution, it's still fun to try.
Yeah, and even though I naysay everything that everyone has to say, I mean, still.
Just,
Even William Brandon McLaughlin, keep trying.
Yeah, sometimes we learn something.
Not Thale Kreider. Thale Kreider, give up.
Oh, I would love it if he would come on a Mazecast and talk to us. That would be great.
I agree.
Anyone who loves Maze is good to talk to.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Well, yeah, I think just about everyone, David Gentile and Thale Kreider and William Brandon McLaughlin and whoever Mary Ann was, like, as much as it can be frustrating, like to go down the same interaction every time on Into the Abyss, where it's like, why are you saying this again? What do you think this means?
Right.
No, that's nonsense. I think it would be very enjoyable to have just a face-to-face dialogue, or whatever you want to call it, when we do these things with any of these people.
Yeah.
I think it's unfortunate with Gentile. We really only had him on one episode, and it was kind of a gimmicky appearance.
Yeah.
We got, you know what? I don't think it was fair to him, because we kind of treated him like, I don't know what we thought he was going to say. You know what I mean? Like he did start talking about something weird. He was talking about something that didn't make any sense, but nobody said anything. You can watch that episode again. You'll see what I'm saying. Nobody said anything.
Room
He
24.
just started saying weird shit, and nobody said anything.
Yeah,
and then creepy stuff started to happen.
Yeah,
Halloween
and then
episode.
I got cut off, and somebody else got cut off. He got cut off. Yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts.
Although, to be clear, within the universe of Mazecast, the events of that episode did actually happen.
Of course.
They did. We can
That's why you're still in the dark.
That's right.
All right. Well, should we call it a night, everybody?
Yeah,
Let's do
sure.
that.
Okay. Well, here we are. Vince, Alex, and Sarah signing off for Mazecast. See you next time.